Well, hello, it's Celisa coming to you from Beautifully Me and You. And today I thought I'd bring you another video. That's right. It's Wednesday, so it's What I Eat in a Day Wednesday. And you're going to get a chance to see everything I ate this particular day. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get right into the food. I usually have a protein coffee for breakfast, and that's kind of it. But this morning I woke up craving breakfast. And so I had only 2 ounces of the Butterball turkey sausage left. But what I really wanted was this funfetti complete pancake mix. I bought it in one of my recent grocery hauls, and ever since I've been thinking, I can just have one pancake for breakfast, can't I? And yes, I can. The pancakes were super easy to make because they're the new Funfetti complete mix. So all you have to do is measure out your, measure out your pancake mix, which I only wanted 1/4 of a cup. So I leveled it out and then put that in a bowl and added water. Next, I put a small amount of butter into a skillet and then just fried up my 1/4 of a cup of pancake mix. I had a little bit of turkey sausage left, which ended up weighing at 2 ounces, so I divided it into 2 patties. And for breakfast this day, I had 1 pancake and 1 turkey patty. I used the other patty for my son, and I made him breakfast as well this day. To go along with it, I had the Maple Grove Farms sugar-free syrup, and it hit the spot. This was like a very sweet breakfast, and it was delicious. Next, I was packing up my lunch to take it to work, and so I used some of this Great Value Fiesta blend cheese, and I used one of these brands' classic white pitas, as well as some chicken breast that I marinated in some fajita seasoning overnight, and then I had the regular lettuce, tomato, peppers, and onions. And so you're going to see how I created all this and took it to work. I just put the chicken into a skillet and allowed it to start to fry. I made sure to space it out so that all of it would get a little bit of heat. And then I went on to cutting up the peppers and the onions. Now, these sandwiches remind me of a Jack in the Box chicken fajita pita. That's kind of the idea that I was going for. I used to eat those all the time when I was in California, and they are delicious, and it's not too high in points. Sometimes I used to use the Joseph pita bread because they're so low in points, but I thought I'd give this new brand that was a little bit more bready a chance. And so I just stir-fried up the chicken and then packed up my lettuce and tomato to slice up fresh whenever I get to work. Next, I used some of this Kroger mild picante sauce, and I'm packing a little bit of that in a to-go container because the chicken fajita pitas were always served with salsa. And then I went ahead and grilled up my peppers and onions and packaged it like this to take it to work. So these are all the things I'm taking to work: the pita, the lettuce, tomato, the chicken, and the peppers. I grabbed a bag of Boom Chicka Pop. And then here's jalapenos, cheese, salsa, some fruit, and some s'mores goldfish. While I was at work, I ended up deciding what I'd have for dinner, and so I couldn't eat all of those snacks, but it's good to have things on hand just in case you want them. So I ended up making the chicken fajita pitas at work, and I used 1 pita, cut it in half, and stuffed it with the ingredient. So this is what it turned out like at work, and it was super delicious. And I ended up only having for snack half of the pack of goldfish that I had packed up and a piece of fruit. For dinner, I decided while I was at work that I'd be making some of my favorite chicken Parmesan. And it's a knockoff recipe from Longhorn Steakhouse. So this day, I was craving a lot of the things that I used to eat. For this recipe, you need some of the creamy melt mozzarella cheese, as well as grated Parmesan, and also shredded Parmesan, some ranch dressing, breadcrumbs, and then I cut up some fresh broccoli because I'm going to be cooking that. I marinated 2 thin-cut chicken breasts by Perdue in some salt and pepper just for like 15 minutes, as well as, here's the measurements. I had a teaspoon of butter, a 1/2 cup of the shredded cheese melts, I used 10 grams of the Parmesan cheese and then 2 small russet potatoes that I'm going to cut up and put in the air fryer. So here I am putting the butter into the skillet, and I don't always count butter. I'm not really a spray oil fan, and so I use a little bit of butter. I've been doing it and it hasn't really stalled my weight loss in any way. But I just use the smallest amount so that it won't stick. I'm not trying to get that buttery feel all over the chicken, you know? So anyway, I put the chicken into the skillet, and while that's sauteing, I moved on to cutting up my potatoes. Now, if you watched my Get to Know Me video, you know potatoes are my absolute favorite food. If you didn't get a chance to watch that video, I'll go ahead and link it above and you can get to know more about me. But I love potatoes, and so any opportunity I can take to have them for dinner, I do. It's part of the reason why I stay on blue and don't cross over to a purple plan, is because I know I would overeat on the potatoes. I mean, I just have hardly any control, so I really need to be measuring and using points for these. Once I got them diced into small pieces, I just went ahead and put the half a teaspoon of oil that it called for in the app onto the potatoes, and then season them with a little bit of Lari seasoning, salt, and pepper. And that's it. I tossed them up and then put them in the air fryer, and they went on 380 degrees for about 12 minutes. It always comes out perfect. I've made these potatoes before, I think in another What I Eat in a Day video, and I absolutely love them. They were the perfect side dish to my Parmesan crusted chicken, which was the star of the show. After cooking the chicken breast for about 3 to 4 minutes on that side, while I cut the potatoes, I just went ahead and flipped. And I allowed them to cook on the other side. Now, these are going to go into the oven, so they don't have to be thoroughly cooked through, because you don't want them to really dry out. I would say for this recipe, use thin cut chicken breast, and Perdue works well for that. Okay, so on to the topping for the chicken. I'm starting off with 1 tablespoon of ranch dressing, and this is homemade ranch that I make, but it's basically ranch dressing. And then I'm adding in the mozzarella creamy melts and just mixing those two together. That's going to be the first topping that goes on top of the chicken. So I put the chicken into one of my Ray Dunn pans that just don't stick. It's amazing. And then I add the topping of the ranch and mozzarella cheese on top and just try to evenly distribute. Then I'm adding some of the shredded Parmesan cheese on top of that, and then the breadcrumbs. I did sprinkle the tiniest amount of grated Parmesan on as well at the end, right before it went in the oven. And that's it. You put it in the oven for about 375 degrees until the cheese browns and is bubbling. The chicken's pretty much done at that point. Next, I went ahead and cooked the broccoli, and I just put it into a pot with about a cup of water and the broccoli. And I did this right before I put the chicken in the oven, so it kind of all be done at the same time. I used about a half a teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon seasoning, and then some black pepper. And this combination works so well. The broccoli, as long as you don't overcook it, comes out so delicious. Has a hint of like chicken bouillon flavor without any extra added points. And it just tastes delicious. And once that was done, I was ready to plate. I had my broccoli all set to go and got my potatoes out of the air fryer. And here's the chicken, the star of the show. I could have just had one piece, but I don't know. I was feeling extra like wanting to eat the most this particular day. And I had thought about this meal ever since lunch. And so I went ahead and had the 2 pieces of chicken, the broccoli, and the potatoes. And the dinner ended up coming out to be 12 points. Well worth it. So I would encourage you to try to find ways to recreate the foods that you like out at home and make it fit into your plan. Whether it's the Parmesan crusted chicken from Longhorn Steakhouse or the chicken fajita pita from Jack in the Box, it can be recreated and in a much healthier way that works alongside with your weight loss. Well, that's all that I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you guys. And take care.